Welcome back. This is May 5th, and I'm your host here, Daniel Benoit, founder of the ECBRO, the East Coast Bigfoot Researchers Organization. And upcoming events, we got June 30th and July 1st, right here in the state of Virginia, in Fishersville, Virginia, the Augusta Expo. We are holding our first annual Virginia Bigfoot Conference, and it is taking off and looking huge. It's going to be one of the biggest events here on the East Coast. If you have not found our event page on Facebook, do so. Check it out, share it around, give us a like, and come on out to Fishersville, Virginia at the Augusta Expo. So many awesome vendors. Our speakers are awesome, and they're going to blow your mind, full of information, and they will be sharing evidence. We have two different movie film directors and producers that will be doing movie premieres. So there's a lot of excitement there, and you know, we're all pumped for this event. The Ohio Night Stalkers, Ronald J. Moorhead, Native American Mr. Baltimore Galvan Jr. We have two different professors from two different universities. We have North Carolina State University and one of our local Northern Virginia universities. Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, also from out of North Carolina. Tracy Arnold. And let's see who else we got. Ernest Solar. He was one of our PhDs. Let's see. Ooh, man. She Squatchers. We cannot forget She Squatchers. Jen Cruz and Jen Grover. Man, those girls are awesome. You don't want to miss them. They're a lot of excitement alone, just the two of them. So full of knowledge, so full of information. And we're definitely looking forward to having all of them come out here. And it's going to be a great fellowship. It's going to be a great learning experience. And, you know, our vendors alone, some of our vendors will be doing arts and craft displays, and some of them will have, we have individuals coming from out of state sharing their evidence that will be on display. So, man, it's going to be awesome. You need to come on out there. And I tell you what, one of the things I wanted to talk to you today about, you know, a lot of people want to know my opinion on things, and that's what I love sharing. I have no problem sharing my opinion and my belief on Bigfoot related topics. And so yeah, we're here today to cover another topic. There's a number of topics that people keep asking me to cover. They want to know my take on a lot of things. Today we're going to talk, one of the things I want to talk about is, it's very short and sweet, about the body of Bigfoot. Where is the body and where are the remains? That's a very common question among skeptics and non-believers. And you know, even the believer and your fellow other Bigfoot researchers, they all have their own belief and theory, and I respect all the above. Today, again, we're going to share my theory or my belief. And again, I'm going to repeat this. A lot of my research and a lot of my belief and studies are based off of the research and the notes and the studies that I do out of the field. And you know, it is a touch of science involved. And I am going to break this down. I'm going to try to keep it simple so all will understand. I hope that all would understand. Everybody knows how, in the circle of life, as they put it on The Lion King, when something dies, they understand the basic process of the body of any animal, any species that dies and passes away. You know, for example, we see a deer that got hit on the side of the road. It stays there long enough. They see it over the next few days. The body starts to expand. The gas is forming, and it starts to bloat. That's with any living creature. That's with any species that ends up dying. It's part of the process. And I am going to try to break that down without getting into, you know, I don't have my research notes in front of me, so please bear with me. I'm going off of, you know, my knowledge and my mind that's here, and I'm going to try to keep this simple. Alright, there's two things. First of all, I want to point out the word taphonomy, and I know a lot of people are not familiar with that word. Taphonomy is basically, in other terms, is known as the process of death. That's right. Taphonomy is the process of death. It's the breakdown process that the body goes through, leading up to decay and all the way to the skeletalization process or period. When when any living creature dies, when the body dies, the flow of blood stops. The flow of blood settles. It pretty much kind of meets in one portion of the body where it settles. Okay, 3 stages of mortis: liver mortis, alga mortis, all right, and rigor mortis. Again, you get alga, rigor, and liver. Okay, 3 stages. It's basic knowledge. It's basic information. Again, you have the process with the body, and the blood flows. The blood starts to flow, and it settles in one portion of the body. Okay. Then you have the portion where the body starts to swell. Gases start to form. Okay. That's where the bloating comes into. You got the bloating. It's all part of the process. Then that's where the body becomes stiff. The body becomes cold and stiff and rigid. Then, as the body starts to, decay, that's where the body becomes rigid and everything starts to break down, and then it goes from there. Okay, it's the simple process. This is brought up because this is what I'm leading up to here. Everything that dies goes through this process. It's simple. It's biology. It's science. Okay, enough said. I'm not trying to give you a scientific lesson here. Now, again, I'll repeat one more time. Every living creature goes through this. Okay. Now, everybody's wondering, where is the body of Bigfoot? Okay. There's a lot of theories about that. Why has there been remains found? Why can't anybody find a body? It's a very common question, again, among skeptics, non-believers, and then even your fellow researcher that wants to know themselves. I would love to know, but I have my theory and I have my belief about what happens or where it could go. I do a lot of comparisons with wildlife. Look at bears, look at mountain lions. A lot of people use bears, but even mountain lions. How often do you come across remains of a mountain lion that's died of natural causes? How often do you come across the remains of a bear that's died of natural causes? It is severely rare, but it does happen. Okay? Bears are considered an elusive species. Same thing with wild cats, mountain lions, cougars, panthers. They're all the same. Okay? Okay, so with that in thought, keep that in mind. Think about that. I do believe I raised a good point on that. So these are elusive creatures where their remains are hardly ever found. Bears, sometimes, you might come across bear remains in a cave or in a den. A lot of times bears will use fallen timber, down trees for shelter. How often do you get people going, look, oh, there's some down trees, uprooted trees. Hey, let's go look underneath a portion of it. It looks like there's something could be living in there. Very seldom do we look at that and think about that, because a lot of that could be used as shelter. And if a cave or a den is unavailable to a bear, they're going to use that as shelter. It's natural. It's part of what they do. It is a fact that bears will use fallen timber as shelter. Okay? It's a natural form den from nature. If it's not a cave, rock structure, so forth, etc., etc. A lot of times they'll go in there and, and die off. A lot of times bears, cats, cats especially. Cats are very intelligent animals. When it comes time, when they become ill, when it comes time for their death, they know their time of death. They know they're ill. They know what's awaiting them. It's a natural instinct, okay? It's part of life. They go off and die off on their own. In secret, okay? It's like their way of dying in peace. Alright? So, when we're sick, as humans, we know we're sick. When we learn that we have a disease, that we're on our deathbed, there's only so much that we could do. Okay? Now let's get into Bigfoot. Okay, let's get into Bigfoot. Of course, if they're ill, if they're sick, duh, I'm sure they know it, but what's happening? Do they know that they're dying? Perhaps so. They lived in clans and groups long enough to understand that, okay, this is happening to me, it's happening to their past relatives. They've seen what's happened when their other branches of or members of their family or their clan fell under those same illnesses and they end up dying. So over a period of time, yes, they became knowledgeable about that. I'm sure, this is my belief, in my opinion, I believe over a period of time they become alerted to that, knowing that they're going to die or something's going to happen. Because see, they don't have doctors and technology like we do. I do believe that, like a lot of species, they are familiar with certain herbs and plants that do help them along with other, other issues. I do believe on the most part they are very healthy because they're not exposed to all the garbage, the sugars, and all the chemicals that were put into foods and stuff processed that we deal with on a daily basis. All right, try to follow me here. I know I'm kind of bouncing around, so I'm very random. So you need to try to follow me here. All right. So, all right. And I believe that again, I believe it's safe to say that a Sasquatch becomes ill and they know what's happening. They know their time of death. Okay. All right. Now, when a body of a Sasquatch dies, some people believe that the rest of the clan may become cannibalistic. That is a very good possibility. There's a number of legends that lead up to being their Sasquatch legends being cannibalistic. Okay, that's not so far-fetched to believe that. I don't find that hard to believe. All right. The other thing is, think about the remains. They don't want a dead body laying around. It's going to attract unwanted visitors. It's going to put a extreme smell out that they don't want to deal with. I mean, over a period of time, wouldn't it be safe to say that they maybe have formed their own, more or less, what we call a ceremony, a funeral? They may have their own way of mourning, but yet, as far as exposing of the body, I mean, to get rid of the body, they probably bury. There's a lot of people believe that they may bury their own dead. And that's, I believe that's a good possibility. If the body's laying around out in the forest, covered with limbs and grass and other stuff that they throw on top of it, the natural decomposition process happens with the soil underneath of them. A lot of people don't realize that the soil, especially out in the Pacific Northwest, soil is very acidic. There's a lot of acid in the soil. Now, this is where I'm bringing up primates again. A primate's bones will break down and decompose much quicker than a human. This is a fact. What I'm sharing with you right now is a fact. Chimpanzee, gorillas, bonobos, etc., etc. A non-human primate, their bones break down and decompose faster than a human. There's a big difference because they're what they are. We are what we are. We are not the same. We're totally different, regardless of how close our DNA resembles each other's. We're not the same. Okay. All right. Their bones versus our bones. Ours are preserved longer. One is because look at how the average human is buried. And now with a primate, especially if you're looking at any rainforest or anywhere where the soil is highly acidic, the acidity will break down the process even quicker. It'll speed it up that much more on top of their natural speed of decomposition. Okay, this is knowledge. This is true facts. What I'm sharing with you. So I know I'm saying a lot that's leading up to this, and I'm trying to throw a lot out at you, and you're probably not following me, which I do hope you are. So I do apologize if I am jumping around, but everything I've shared with you so far is leading up to this, and what I'm trying to get at here. So one thing about it is common that it was, to me, it's believed that they bury their own dead. I know others share that same belief. One, nature, the acidic soil, the process breaks down quicker, and if they are a form of primate, again, not related to humans, that would make sense why their remains are broke down and decomposed more into the soil, into the terrain faster than any others. Okay, unlike humans, our remains will be found. A non-human primates are not. They're very rarely ever found. If you do your study and you do your homework on non-human primates like chimpanzees, gorillas, even monkeys, their remains are, decomposed. Now, here's a side note, totally off the subject. Many years ago, in the state of Texas, where, totally different terrain, totally different soil, there is forms of soil that produce, like chalk and salt, there are types of soil where remains would be preserved. Now, in the state of Texas, it is found, if you do your homework, in the state of Texas, there were remains found of a small primate. This is true scientific fact. Discoveries of primates were found in Texas. Of all places, Texas. So, that was awesome. That's real information and true facts. And again, it all depends on the type of soil if the remains are going to hang around. Okay. Now, another way we could look at this too, we could have been venturing in the forest, come across remains of a large animal and not even know it. A good example is deer. I come across a lot of deer bones, a lot of deer remains. Some I've actually accidentally come across, not knowing right away that they were bones, because they had other growth growing over top of them, moss. Nature had taken over in forming moss and other growth, green growth that would cover them up. Over a period of time, nature creates a natural blanket. So there goes another factor that you need to consider, that nature takes over. The acidic soil breaks down a lot quicker. And just saying, with my belief or my consideration that if they are a primate or an ape of some sort, it would make sense why we can't find their remains, because their body and their bone structure is breaking down and decomposing a lot faster than a human. Okay? So, with everything I threw out at you, this is my belief and this is my opinion. Why I break down. If you did not understand this, I know I sound like a rambling fool to a lot of you guys, but what little do you know is I seriously take this serious, and I do a lot of research. I do a lot of homework. I'm not just walking out in the woods like your average Bigfooter trying to show a video. No, I like to share some basic knowledge. Okay? I'm not a know-it-all. I'm not an expert, but I am somebody who takes their time to look up basic knowledge to compare notes with. Okay, I believe it's important to share my belief and my opinions based off of the research and the notes and the comparison that I do, along with the observations from the field. There's a lot of other topics I will get into in future videos such as this. So again, if you have any questions regarding what I said, please feel free. I know, like every other video I post, I'll be looking forward to ridicule, mockery, non-belief. I know there's a lot of average fools out there that care less about what I try to share, but basic knowledge that I shared with you is truth when it comes to taphonomy, the process of death, the acidic soil, the elusiveness of bears and mountain lions and cats, consider them. Think about what I said when I said how often. You got to ask yourself that. How often are remains found of these species? Okay? So why is it hard to believe that, hey, something like a Bigfoot, if we can't come across remains of a bear or a mountain lion that's died of natural causes, again, natural causes, well, think about a Bigfoot. If they're that much more intelligent, well, it would make sense that their remains are being hid. Two, that their process of death, the decompose, the bodies are being broke down and processed into nature a lot faster than a human. And again, the natural blanket of nature is taking over the rest of the remains. So these are little things to consider. These are things to think about. That's why I share this information with you guys. It's basic and simple, and I think I make a simple, clear point. There's so much more I can get into. There's other topics that I have lined up to share with you guys. One of the upcoming videos videos I want to share with you is people want me to share about Bigfoot structures. What are they? What do they mean? My belief in that. The other thing is to get more involved with my other latest video is what is Bigfoot. I'll get more into that. There's other subjects with that I'll be adding back to that later. There's other questions that have been raised to me that people want me to talk about. So there's a lot to look forward to. So again, with this video, I hope it helps you guys. I hope you guys consider it, regardless of how you want to mock what I have to share or ridicule it. It's all good. So it's all fine and dandy. I share this information because people need to hear this. They really do. Remember, don't be fooled by science and the theories that flood, because the theories that science created is no different than what I'm presenting. It's no different than the thought you have, because that's how it started. It was a thought of man. Okay? But what notes, you got to look at the overall picture. All right? There's a lot of factors you can look at. They all have to connect and make sense one way or another that leads up to the point that you are trying to make. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Simple. Again, I'm not a know-it-all, and I don't claim to be an expert, but there's information that I have that I want to share, hoping that you might consider it. So there's pieces of the puzzle that we're trying to pull together and try to piece together. So you guys have a good day. I'm Daniel Benoit, founder of the ECBRO. And if you have not done so, subscribe to this YouTube channel, Bigfoot Zone. When you hit subscribe, make sure you click that little bell icon so you get a notification every time I go live or anytime I upload a new video. So, until next time, guys, I'm out.